Okay. Are we live? Let me see. Okay, it looks like it. The controls are saying excellent. All right. Let me see something here. All right. Yeah. There we go. I just got the notification on my phone. Okay. Whoops, I need to turn that off.
Yeah,
okay. Oh, well, good morning. We want to welcome you to the first episode of Conversations with the Pastors 2. I'm Betty Bolerjack, President, CEO, and head coach, lead coach, whatever I am, at Inspired Shepherd. I'm your host this morning, along with my husband and co-host.
Hi, I'm Mark. I am Treasurer and CFO at Inspired Shepherd, and I try my best to help Betty keep her head on. Sometimes it's a little difficult.
Yesterday was a real challenge, wasn't it?
That was a mess.
Well, together we are the Pastors 2. So, yesterday, it's been quite the journey getting here. This was kind of a class project that or a homework project for one of my classes, and I bit off a pretty big chunk, and I was planning originally to stream live to both Facebook and YouTube, and kind of went back and forth, and I don't know what Facebook is doing, but anyway, they won't let me stream live. And then I came back to YouTube, all ready to go last night at 5 o'clock, and something went haywire, and it said, something, that gave me a link, and when I clicked the link, it said that I had to wait another 4 hours and 5 minutes before I could go live. That put it at 9:05 last night. So somehow or other, I thought it was 24 hours from the time you set up your channel, but apparently it's 24 hours from the time you first attempt to do a live or something. I don't know. It sounded I was eligible to do live broadcasts, but it didn't, so it just wouldn't let me.
So
anyway,
here we are.
So here we are. So we're glad to be here, and we're glad that you're here. And I can't see who all is here. Looks like we've got 3 on.
3 people.
Put something in the chat so we can see you're here. See who's here. Anyway. Our plan at this point is to make this a weekly podcast, probably on Thursdays. We hope that we can make these conversations inspiring and educational, along with a good dose of humor. Anyway, so make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with somebody. That helps with the algorithm. On YouTube. I'm not worried about Facebook at this point, but I don't think I have the link in the description to our Facebook page, but I will put that in there. And do go and like that page so that that will help us, and maybe eventually we can stream to both platforms at the same time. So anyhow, okay, so we've been talking about what we're going to talk about this morning.
So what are we going to talk about?
Well, I've been telling you. I was going to ask you.
Okay, little background information first.
Like what? Okay.
Well, we both grew up in the parsonage.
Yes. Yeah, I was thinking about talking about that.
Okay. What got you started with this whole
some people may not be familiar with the term parsonage, okay?
Okay.
That's like a pastor's home. So Mark and I are both children of pastors, otherwise known as PKs, pastor's kids. So Yeah, so we grew up as children of pastors, and then eventually we became pastors, and we're retired as pastors now. Although we did come out of retirement a couple of years ago, 3 years ago. I think it's been almost 3 years ago now.
Has it been that long?
Yeah, to do interim work at a small church. And so, anyway, meanwhile, so what was it you asked? How did I get?
How did you get started with all of this process? Becoming a coach and
Oh my goodness!
it started several years ago.
Well, yeah, kind of. Well, the big thing is that when we were pastoring, well, all my life actually, I had ADHD and didn't know it. And it wasn't until after we retired that I was diagnosed. And I guess I mask really, really well. A mask means that I'm able to kind of hide the ADHD. And so I had, I lost my train of thought.
Okay. So you were diagnosed.
Yeah, and well, before that, I had heard of life coaching, okay? And I thought about that. I thought, well, I could become a life coach. I think that was probably after we left our second church, but I don't know for sure. And I thought, I could do that, hang out my shingle, coach people. But I really didn't give it serious thought. And then 4 years ago, can you believe it's been 4 years? After I was diagnosed, I joined a Facebook group, a couple of them actually. One of them was an offshoot of the other one, and it was started by an ADHD coach. And when she started that, I thought, she was working on certification, and I thought, I could do that. I was part of get my tongue all twisted. I was part of a group coaching thing with her, and I was, I don't know. I just decided that, I thought, again, it was just briefly. I didn't really give it a lot of serious thought. I just thought maybe I could become an ADHD coach. I was watching what she was doing, and, I can do that. And then some things happened. I've been observing first-time pastors who seem to have challenges with communication, with talking to people, with getting their vision across, things like that. And looking back, I realized I had that same problem. I didn't always communicate well. I said things impulsively, and I hurt people. And I saw people being hurt, by other pastors. And so I said, it's been just right at a year ago. Right at a year ago. It was May 3rd last year. I remember the date. I don't know. It's just like etched in my memory. And I said, somebody needs to coach these first-time pastors. And I felt like God was saying to me, yeah, you. So here I am. I started researching what it would take to get certified, and next thing I knew, I was in classes. And so anyway, so here we are. And I was just trying to get the word out and everything, and I don't know, That's why we started this. But I want, I have a website, and I'll put that link in the description too. But we started this to make it a resource for pastors and church leaders, lay people, whoever. I mean, and so if there's something that you are interested in us talking about, let us know. We are hoping to have some guests on, like next Thursday will be our second episode, and Mark's not going to be able to be with me because he's working full time and he has an accounting job, and every month they have to do month's end work, and that's the first week of the month. And so
that's next week.
That's next week.
Right.
So I've got some people in mind. I'm going to check and see if someone will come on with me and be my guest, and I'll do an interview. I've got one person in mind that has a very interesting background. And so anyway, so you'll want to tune in again. That'll be Thursday at 5. But let's see. So enough about me. What about, how'd you get here?
How'd I get Well, I don't know.
Because I drug you?
Because of you, yes. But no. We had a couple of difficult pastorates.
We did.
Yeah. And, when you started talking about being a coach and looking back on our own ministry, there are times, to answer your question, there are times when maybe we didn't react like we should have, or
you mean my question about what was it like to have a co-pastor who had ADHD that we didn't know about?
We didn't know at the time, right? But yeah. So, you kept saying that you were going to be asking me that, so I beat
all right.
So
okay,
anyway,
here we go.
Yeah, the way that we react to situations or things that people might say, the maybe the way you worded something in your sermon in a way that wasn't quite as friendly. I don't know. That caused people to be a little unsure.
Well, whatever it was, we were never quite sure about some of it, but I apparently made some people mad.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That maybe things could have been worded a little differently if you had known that you had ADHD, or how to, relate to people, or how to react.
So has it made a difference since I've learned about my ADHD?
Yeah, probably. I think it has.
So I know when we were doing the interim work, I was aware of it at that time. And so I think that was different. And it actually was a healing time for me because, honestly, I was hurt. I'm not sure about Mark, but I was hurt badly.
Yeah, much more than I was.
And and that's why we're doing this. We want to end the hurt. We want to end that pain that people go through when somebody says the wrong thing, and maybe totally unintentional, but yet they say something and somebody's feelings get hurt, and things can go downhill in a hurry. And we'd like to somehow stop that. And so that's why we're here. We're hoping to be able to enlighten you and provide some encouragement.
A lot of times, pastors going into their first assignment,
yeah,
they go in kind of blindsided. They don't know what to expect. They don't know, there's a lot of things that they don't get in their college theology training, and so
This is true.
practical stuff, things that they should expect, or how to handle different situations, and that's something that you and you especially, can help with, especially new pastors or those that are in their first assignment.
Yeah. Well, I hope so. Anyway, so let's talk a little bit about our dads.
Okay.
Because it's interesting that both of them, way back when, I believe your dad, his first church was one that he started, right?
That's correct. In the Kansas City area when he was in seminary. There's a suburb of Kansas City called Grandview. He's organized that church back in 1953, I think it was. I looked at the website last night. And then after a few years there, I don't think he started another church, but he helped another church get started in another suburb of Kansas City. So, yes, he did.
And my dad, right after my parents were married, so it would have been sometime, they were married in December of 1941, and sometime just right after that, they met when they were driving from what was then, I think, Bethany Peniel College. It's now Southern Nazarene University. They were going with a group of students to a little church down in
Purcell.
Purcell, yes. I couldn't remember. And my dad's cousin was the pastor there. And I guess it was basically love at first sight for them. But anyway, this trip back and forth to that little church, going from Bethany, this is in Oklahoma, where we are, and going from up here down to Purcell, they drove through Noble. And there wasn't a church there. There wasn't a Nazarene church there. And my parents would, in case you haven't figured it out, we are Nazarene. But my parents talked about it. And they said, why don't we have a church here? And so my dad went to the district superintendent and asked if he could start a church there. And that church is now over 80 years old, I think. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. And, but he didn't stay there very long, maybe a couple of years. And it seemed like, well, he was at I think I counted up 4 different churches in the first 10 years that they were married. So by the time I came along, he had pastored 4 different churches. And even at that, the first 8 years of my life, we were at least 3 different churches that I remember. And that was here in the Oklahoma City area. Now, my dad did help out at some of those churches, but he had a rough time with some of those little churches that he pastored way back then. And then later on, he ended up pastoring again. He had gotten out of the pastorate. He was working for Armour and Company in Packingtown, down in Oklahoma City. And he was, they shut the plant down. And he always joked that God had to shut Armour and Company down here in Oklahoma City in order for him to get back into the ministry. But first he was sent out as an interim pastor in Texas. We were on our way to California. It took us a long time to get there. But we stopped where my mom had a sister that lived in Lubbock. And we stopped there, and he had gone to school with the district superintendent of that district, and he called my dad and said, will you go help out at Muleshoe? Believe it or not, Mark and I had an opportunity to go to Muleshoe. Maybe we should have. I don't know. Those were some good people. So, anyway, but I just didn't really want to be out there in the midst of the sand dunes and
the tumbleweeds.
The tumbleweeds where it was pretty bare. And then he was asked to reopen the church in Eastland, Texas. And we spent a couple of years there. All of these churches, he built up the attendance. And then he would resign, and after a couple of years, usually. And when I graduated from high school, we were finally in California, believe it or not. But like I said, it took us 8 years to get to California. But we finally went to California, and he was at that church for about 4 years, and he had what they call an extended call, where he had been asked to stay. There had been a vote. It was not unanimous, I don't believe, and he always felt like he needed to have a unanimous vote. I think my dad had ADHD. I'm sure he did. My younger brother did have, and so it was. He had his challenges. And I want to say this. Did you realize that probably as many as 15% of pastors have ADHD? It's kind of surprising, huh?
Yes. It's a high percentage.
Yeah, it is. There was a survey done where I found it one time and I can't find it again. But there was a survey done that was of some seminary students, and 15% of those students either had diagnosed ADHD or they had ADHD-like qualities. So there's something about being in ministry that draws those of us with ADHD. One of these days, maybe we'll get into talking about who in the Bible might have had ADHD. I've got some ideas. So, anyway, if you think go ahead and put it in the chat. Let's see. Anyhow, what else? I put him on the spot. This is totally unscripted, y'all. This is totally unscripted.
My mind's blank.
One thing I was going to say, we don't know if Mark has ADHD. So at this point, we're viewing him as being neurotypical. But there are times that we wonder.
You wonder about me?
Yeah, I wonder about you. So, anyway. That's a weather notification. We're supposed to have storms here today.
Yeah, some of them may be severe.
Right.
Yeah, so that may cut into our plans for this afternoon.
Yeah,
but anyway.
we were thinking about going to the arts festival. That's this weekend, and it always rains during the arts festival. But,
never ends.
I have mobility issues, and I use a mobility scooter, and I don't take it out in the rain usually. So I have been caught out in the rain a time or two, but.
We may change our
anyway,
plans.
so I thought that'd be a good way to celebrate getting this off the ground and going. But anyway, so okay, well, I think it's probably about time to start wrapping this up. So again, if you like this, like the video, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. I don't know about the little notification bell. I mean, I think you can hit that and get it so that you're notified of everything. But anyway, and then be sure and share the video. Share it with your friends, share it on Facebook, other platforms, wherever you are. Be sure and share it. And that helps, like I said, with the algorithm. That helps to get the word out. That helps our channel to grow. And that's what we need to do in order to reach people and let people know that we're here to help. Not sure exactly how this is going to play out, but we're open to what the Lord has for us to do. And
if you know of anybody that could use this type of coaching, they need to reach out.
Yeah, and like I said, I'll have my website link in the description. It's on the channel, but I'll put it in the description on this video. I just, like we said, Mark was trying to help me keep my head together, keep it on or whatever. And, I think a piece or two got left behind. So, anyway, okay, well, I have class in, let's see, what time is it?
I was
in about 34 minutes. What?
Yeah. So you're taking classes now.
Yes.
But you've already got clients.
I do.
Yes. So, and you're reaching for certification probably this fall?
I'm hoping this fall.
Right. But that doesn't preclude you from going ahead and taking clients.
Right.
Because you have to have so many clients in order to get the certification.
Right. I have to have a certain number of clients. I have to have a certain number of coaching hours. And so I'm working on that as well as taking classes to improve my coaching. So in fact, when I started my first class, one of the first things they said was, you need to be coaching now. So I've been coaching pretty much ever since that first one.
You've had a lot of good compliments and good feedback on how well you are as a coach through some of these classes as well.
Yes. Yeah, I have. I've been told that I'm a natural.
You're good.
Well, thank you. So, among other things, so anyway, yeah, it's exciting. It's, and it's fun for me. I really enjoy it. So, if you or someone needs some coaching, just general life coaching, ADHD coaching, if you're clergy of some sort, be sure and reach out to me, and we'll see what we can do. So, okay.
All right.
I think, did we cover everything?
Pretty much.
Okay.
I think we did.
Well, like I say, I've got class in just over 30 minutes here, so we're going to wrap this up, and we will see you hopefully Thursday, 5 o'clock Central Time. That'd be 6 Eastern, 3 o'clock Pacific Time. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know who all's on with us. I can't see that. So a lot of times on when it's on Facebook, I can see who's watching, but I can't seem to see that on here. But anyway, that's okay. I guess that's it. All right. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.